Welcome to Beyond Belief, where we cover all of the events involving Toronto's favorite Sons, the Toronto Maple Leafs, with your hosts, Adam and Donnie.
Welcome to another episode of Beyond Belief, a Toronto Maple Leafs podcast. As always, I'm your host, Adam, and with me is my co-host, Donnie. Donnie, how's it going?
What's up, everyone? In Leafs Nation, it is Donnie, and we're back with another episode of Beyond Belief.
I gotta tell you, Donnie, I'm in a real good mood today.
The tone's a lot different than when we last recorded this, right?
Right, I mean, last time, to bring back my religious analogy, was the crucifixion. Remember, I committed blasphemy with that one.
Right.
And then today is like the resurrection. Here we are. The Leafs are in the process of resurrection, I believe. But I feel like we should start out today with a song. Ready, Donnie? Ole, 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 ole. Here's the reason why I'm happy. Last night, I got a knock on the door. I opened it up. And it was Sydney Sweeney and Megan Fox in a Leaf bikini.
Okay.
And things got out of hand. No, actually, it wasn't that. I wish it was. Because if it was that, I wouldn't be here. I'd still be busy. It wasn't that. What actually was happening was the Montreal Canadiens got shit kicked from one end of the ice to the next for the fourth game in a row.
Yeah.
And have been officially eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And I messaged you. I was like, Happy Habs Elimination Day.
Oh, it's a beautiful day indeed. I don't have alcohol, but I have water. And if I had alcohol...
That's right. This is just water, too, but I'm drinking it in honor of the Habs being eliminated. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Mr. Rogers in there, too. I bet you he hated the Habs if you really ask him. If he was their neighbor, he would close the door in their face. And he never did that to anybody. But yeah, so it's a great day. Montreal's out. And as far as I'm concerned, they were lucky that they got as far as they did. Their goalie carried them. And you can't win series by getting a range of 9 to 18 shots every game. You need more than that in the playoffs. But this is not a Montreal Canadian podcast because who would waste their time talking about that nonsense? We're talking about the Leafs, and as Donnie alluded to, the last time we left, things were not looking good.
Needless to say.
But, the draft happened.
Yeah.
And
where the Leafs only had a 41% chance of maintaining their pick.
Yeah. Let's set the scenario. So they had a 41% chance of keeping 5th overall, which, let's be honest, they deserved to keep because of how crappy the season was.
Right.
And they weren't even trying to lose on purpose. They just stunk that bad.
Right.
And they
were old and tired, and Berube had lost the room.
Right. And they only had an 8.5% chance of winning the lottery.
It never even entered my mind that might actually happen.
So, we were going into the proceedings thinking, after all the terrible nonsense we spent 82 games watching, we're going to have to give 6th overall or 7th overall to the Boston Bruins, one of our main rivals. So things were not looking good.
It felt like being kicked when you're down.
Right. And kicked in a certain spot that really hurts.
Exactly.
And so I'll never forget it. I was just kind of casually, lounging around on the couch, kind of half lying down, relaxing, kind of falling asleep, about to doze off on the draft lottery, and texting with a friend saying, "Oh, here we go. We're gonna have to watch as the Leafs waste a wasted season by not getting a good draft pick." And then they were showing, the odds and sort of which balls each team needed. And then, it says the Leafs need number 12. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, there ain't no way. We ain't getting no number 12. And the number, so the ball, the balls are in the machine. They're getting jumbled around, and then they take a commercial break, right? And so on the corner of the screen, you see like everything's stopped, and then the balls start going around again. I'm like, okay, here's where the shenanigans are going to start. Somebody's messing with that ball to guarantee the Leafs don't get it. And then the ball pops up in the chute, and the guy pulls it out, and all you see and all you hear is 12!
You can almost hear Leafs Nation from across the globe.
Donnie, I swear to God, I let out a scream and an expletive that was so loud that I don't think I've cheered that loud all season. It was the loudest I've cheered.
Well, nothing that happened last season was anywhere near the weight of what happened with us getting the number 1 pick.
And I even kind of leaped up a little bit, as much as I could leap up with, having a cane and stuff. And on the landing, I kind of hurt my foot a little bit, but it's all worth it. So the Leafs won the draft lottery.
The Leafs now own the number 1 overall pick in the upcoming draft.
Yeah, and so the great part about watching that unfold was they transitioned to a shot of our I can't remember what his title is, but Matt Sundin, former Leaf captain, Hall of Famer, and now executive in the front office, with new general manager John Chayka. Because the last time we left you, Brad Treliving had been fired, and John Chayka and Matt Sundin have been hired. So Sundin was there, and the smile on Sundin's face, I'm like, look, he's literally been on the job for a day, and he's already brought the luck back.
Exactly. Lady Luck walked right in the room with him.
Right. And Lady Luck is a bald Swedish man, but never looked better.
That's one of the greatest quotes I've heard. Lady Luck is a bald Swedish man.
So, look, here's the scenario now. The last time the Leafs had the number 1 pick was 2016, and we selected Austin Matthews.
Worked out pretty well.
Granted, that hasn't translated to playoff success.
Yeah,
however,
no cups, but...
However, he's a 2-time 60-goal scorer, and when he's healthy, one of the best players in the world. Now, here's what we have in front of us. There's a player named Gavin McKenna. He is projected by all the analysts, or most of the analysts. I can't say all because some idiots don't have him at number 1. But most of the people, most of the analysts that get paid to scout players have him at number 1. And the reason is, and I think I alluded to his stats the last episode, just in case. But now that we're in the position, I'll restate them. In the calendar year, between the WHL, the CHL, and the NCAA, Gavin McKenna has played 99 hockey games. In those 99 hockey games, he has 300 points.
Yeah.
There's only one thing you got to do. Now, there's some of the analysts, well, maybe the Leafs should get number 2. Well, let's look at number 2. Ivar Stenberg. You want to know what his stats were in the Swedish league? Now, granted, he's 18, and he's playing with a bunch of men. 43 games.
But McKenna's only 18 too.
Right. But 43 games. He's got 33 points. Those are some good numbers. But again, 300 points in 99 games. And McKenna's being compared, like if you look at comparables to other players, he's being compared to Patrick Kane and Nikita Kucherov.
I see the word a lot attached to him, a generational talent.
Right. So, all that being said, I still take Gavin McKenna.
Yeah.
And then you have some analysts, well, the Leafs should trade down to third or fourth and trade for a defenseman. Because the Leafs' defense is a problem. Granted.
We acknowledge that. But
Granted. There's no denying the Leafs' defense was in shambles, a shit show, a disgrace. You use whatever terminology you want, all applies. The only word you can't use is good, because that wouldn't apply. But still, let's look at the fact here. If the Leafs select McKenna, he can jump into the lineup to start the season. Even if they decide to go Stenberg, he can jump in and join the Leafs for training camp in September or late August, because the season starts supposedly starting a little earlier this year because it's 84 games instead of 82. The top-rated defenseman is not projected to be able to jump in the lineup this season and start with whichever NHL club selects it. So how does that help the Leaf defense right now? We'd have to wait, 2-3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 4, because defensemen typically take longer to develop than forwards.
And I've seen that mistake too many times in too many sports where a team decides to go after filling a need and they pass on a player who could be a franchise changer, and years later you look at it and you're like, what were they thinking?
You
don't pass on a player like McKenna.
Right. And again, drafting a defense right now who cannot step into the lineup immediately does not help the Leafs for the next 2 to 4 years. So why would you pass on a 300-point player in 99 games for, hey, yeah, don't worry, he's going to help us. This defenseman might help us in 4 years' time. Doesn't make much sense to me.
No.
You talk about filling a need. All year long, if you listen to the analysts, some 12-year-old girls on the internet, the Leafs they need Mitch Marner. They need a player like Mitch Marner who can put up 100 points in a season. They need a setup man for Austin Matthews. You know what? If you select Gavin McKenna, there's your Mitch Marner replacement.
Right.
You know the difference between Mitch Marner and Gavin McKenna? One is a guy, when they insulted his mother, he punched him in the face. The other is a whiny bitch who does whatever his father says. You take a guess which one's which.
Yeah.
The whiny bitch is Mitch Marner, in case you were wondering.
And weren't we just talking on the last episode about so many games in the past year, the Leafs getting doubled up, sometimes tripled up shots on goal?
Yeah.
That would not happen with McKenna.
Yeah. Well, he'd be able to get to help our transition out of the zone, right? Mm-hmm. Like he'd be no. So again, to me, McKenna is the play. Am I gonna if they do select Stenberg, we're still getting a really good player. Will I be a little bit disappointed? Sure, but it won't be the end of the world. If they drop down and select anybody but McKenna and Stenberg, then I'm going to pull. You ever seen Game of Thrones?
I've seen a couple episodes, yeah.
Okay, where one of the characters opens the window to the castle and just jumps out because he's had enough.
Right.
Well, if the Leafs don't select McKenna or Stenberg, that's what I'm going to do, because at this point, I've had enough.
So that'll be the last episode of the podcast.
Absolutely. I'll do the podcast with you, and we'll end with me jumping out of the window of my den.
Exactly.
So, look, Leafs, they're not listening to this show. I'm not delusional. But Listen.
We're just having fun here as
John
fans.
John Chayka, Matt Sundin. Please, take a second and listen to me. I've been a fan of this franchise for 32 godforsaken years. Do you understand how much pain, agony, and sorrow you've put me through? And I'm still here. I have all kinds of Leaf memorabilia in my room. I wake up to depression every morning because I look at imagery of you guys winning the Stanley Cup in black and white. I have signed pictures of Doug Gilmour. I have a signed picture of Ty Domi, Max's father. We'll get to Max in a second.
Yeah.
I got all kinds of jerseys. I got Curtis Joseph's jerseys. Sundin, I got your jersey from when you first came to Toronto.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody should know what one player can mean to a franchise, it should be Sundin.
Right. All I'm asking is you do one thing for me. Well, multiple things, but let's start with this one thing for now. And I know, listen, Stenberg is Swedish, Mats, and I know you are too, but never mind the pull of the home cooking. In my book, you're an honorary Canadian, Mats, because you spent 3/4 of your career here, and now you came back out of retirement. You didn't have to do it. You put your reputation on the line to help this franchise because you love it as much as I do. All I'm asking from you and John Chayka is, on June 26th, whichever one of you goes up there, both of you, whoever makes the announcement, all I need to hear is, the Toronto Maple Leafs are proud to select with the first overall pick in the 2026 NHL Draft is Gavin McKenna. That's all I want to hear.
Yeah.
That's it. Done. I don't want to hear Gary Bettman, that jackass, come on the stage and say the Leafs have made a trade. I don't want to hear that.
Don't leaf it up.
I want to see I want to see Gary Bettman be thrown out of the arena like Jazz being thrown out of the mansion by what's his face, Uncle Phil. That's the only thing I want to see from Gary Bettman, because I can't stand that little piece of crap. But all I want to hear from you two is Gavin McKenna's name coming out of your mouths on June 26th. Is that so much to ask?
You know, I was watching highlights of Gavin the other day, and my wife was sitting on the couch next to me, and she was like, does anybody else ever score other than him? And I'm like, well, now these are highlights, but pretty much no.
Probably not, yeah. And there's a great documentary on ESPN about Gavin McKenna. You should watch it, Donnie. Mm-hmm. It was on ESPN. It's really good. And here's the other thing. Why? Look, in that documentary, he said this, and I'm paraphrasing. Pressure is a privilege. And if I'm being booed in the other team's arena, I'm doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
Hand him the Leaf jersey. Hand him his equipment. Bring him to the MasterCard Arena, the practice facility, and let's get to work. When I heard that quote, that's all I needed to know. Those two quotes. Because you know what? They're the exact opposite of Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner had to leave.
You draft this kid, and there's going to be so much renewed interest in the Leafs that it's not even going to be funny. Could be the deciding factor for Austin Matthews to stay as well.
Yeah, like we've heard, like there have been analysts that have said that Matthews' camp and McKenna's camp are excited about the prospect of the two playing together, and so am I, because that's how I believe. That's one of the ways that we get, 60 to 69 goal scoring Austin Matthews back. Mm-hmm. Ivar Stenberg isn't going to help Matthews score 60 to 69 goals. I'll tell you that much. The defenseman that we won't get for another 3 years isn't going to help Matthews score 69 goals again. But Gavin McKenna might. So, just select Gavin McKenna. That's all I want from the draft.
Very easy. Very easy.
It's the no-brainer selection.
All you got to do is just unwrap the present. That's all we need.
Just Christmas morning, go under the tree. It's a big box wrapped in blue and white paper with a nice leaf bow on top. And just unwrap and let's have a blast.
Did I send you that picture? There are already jerseys, Leafs jerseys.
Listen, I have a blank jersey waiting for a name. I would love nothing more than to put 72 and McKenna on the back of it. Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting. So, allow me to do that. That's all I'm asking. Now, we'll put that aside for right now because there's other stuff to talk about. Now, I think the addition of Gavin McKenna can help us turn things around and be a playoff contender next season. Another thing that I think is going to help us potentially be a playoff contender next season again is a new coach. And we're going to need one because Craig Berube has been fired. And it was the right call. Now,
and look, you and I have talked about, we still have respect for Berube, what he's done in the past, but the bottom line is sometimes you lose the room, and it's very obvious that the team quit on him.
He's won a Stanley Cup. You can't take that away from him.
Nope.
I just don't think that his style was right for this team.
No.
And John Chaika was our GM was very complimentary and very polite about things, in complimenting Craig Berube after he was let go. He was asked if they consulted any of the players about the decision, to which he said no, the players have no say in the matter. That's the politically correct thing to say, Donnie, but I guarantee you, when John Chaika and Matt Sundin met with a bunch of the players, each one of the players they met with, I guarantee you, said, don't bring back Craig Berube. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Now, you can sugarcoat it and say they didn't for PR purposes, because you don't want to throw any of the players under the bus. But I think that they very much said...
Yeah, behind the scenes, when they were allowed to speak freely, you had to think that they were
saying...
And
I guarantee you, if they had a conversation with Austin Matthews, and I'm sure they did, he said, don't bring back Craig Berube. Now, and here's why I say this. Now, yes, has Matthews had a few down years by comparison? Yes, but if you look at his years under Berube, here's why. I looked up this stat, and 49% of his ice time over the last 2 years, Austin Matthews' ice time, has been playing against the opposing team's top offensive line. What you are asking Austin Matthews to do and his line to do by playing him in those situations is to be a defensive shutdown forward. That's what you're asking him to do. Shut down the other team's best line. I don't know. But again, I didn't sign his contract. I don't pay his checks. Well, indirectly I do because I buy the goddamn merchandise. But anyway, if I was the one signing Austin Matthews to a 13 point whatever $1 million it is contract, I'm not paying for him to shut down the other team's top line. You know what I'm paying 13 point whatever $1 million for? The 60 to 69 goal scorer. That's what I want Austin Matthews to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about how Berube's style does not optimize the skill set of Austin Matthews.
Right, absolutely it doesn't. Now, so I think one of the things that's going to help the Leafs, regardless of the personnel changes on the roster, is a different style of play. They need to find a coach that can achieve two things. Unleash Austin Matthews and Nylander and Knies to be able to play a more offensive, freewheeling, puck-moving style.
Yes.
But also has to get the buy-in of playing team defense. Team defense is not necessarily saying, okay, Austin, now shut down the other team's top line. Like, that's your responsibility. Team defense is making sure all 5 guys come back and help out in the zone when possible. That's collective team defense. So you get your offensive chance, skate down 200 feet of ice and help out your defenseman. Austin Matthews already does that. That's not a problem. So they need a coach with a more freewheeling, high-tempo, offensive style of play for these guys. That'll help. Now, they're talking about some. I don't want to get into the candidates because it's all over the place right now. We'll wait and talk about the guy they actually hire when he's hired. Probably in our by the next episode we do after the draft. In July we'll do a draft wrap up and an opening of free agency episode.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we'll talk. Cause by then I think they'll have the coach, and I think we'll talk about the name then. But I think
I would think so. Yeah.
The bottom line is they need a guy that can get these guys to play a more freewheeling, up tempo, kind of style.
Well, you and I talked about how the Leafs, they need to get younger.
Yeah.
They need to get more energy, and again, I think if you can make the guys more optimistic by bringing in a player like Gavin McKenna, a new coach, a new style, then you have a culture change, and that's what the Leafs need right now.
So the another thing I want to mention is Max Domi had off-season surgery, and there was a little bit of a complication. I don't know to what degree, but he is currently listed as out indefinitely, but he will be reevaluated before training camp begins in September to see where exactly he's at. So he's working with the medical team to get himself, but we'll have to wait and see how it progresses. I want to wish Max Domi well and a speedy recovery.
Likewise.
The reason this is a little bit more worrisome is because he has, I believe, I don't know if it's type 2, but he has a diabetic issue.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was part of the complication with the surgery. Like, I'm not going to speak on it because I don't know. But just wishing him all the best, and I hope he does come back. When he does come back healthy, ready to go, and has a fantastic season. Because I believe when Max is rolling, like we saw in the playoffs against Ottawa, when Max is up for a game and he's firing on all cylinders, he can be very effective.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish him a speedy recovery first and foremost.
And he definitely is not afraid to swing to protect his captain.
Yeah, which is, you can't say that about a bunch of the players.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that was very important for me was William Nylander on his latest YouTube episode said that he loves Toronto, wants to remain a Toronto Maple Leafs. He said he would love to finish his career here, and that winning in Toronto is incomparable to winning anywhere else. That's the kind of attitude of the players I want playing for this team.
And I think winning in a market like Toronto, and with a fan base that's, again, stretches around the globe, there are Leafs fans everywhere. Obviously, I'm one of them who's not in Canada.
Yeah.
But the Leafs, if you do something here, it's going to be appreciated by a much larger, a much hungrier fan base, by the way.
The other thing is, like, I keep seeing trade rumors about, the Leafs should trade Matthew Knies. What kind of drugs are you people on?
Yeah, we have not seen Matthew Knies' best years yet. I don't know why you'd want to trade him. And for what?
Like, he is a power forward. Who can take command of a game, and anytime he plays one of the Florida teams, it's like he takes over. And you saw that play against Boston when he was on the breakaway and the guy was hooking and holding him, and he just shrugged him off with one arm and then continued on his breakaway and scored.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why teams are clamoring for Matthew Knies is because you can't find a power forward like that. So no, you don't trade him.
No.
You know though, you know what I would trade, what it would take, because Chicago seems to be the most interested. You know what Chicago would have to give me to take Matthew Knies? Not only would it be the 4th overall pick in this year's draft, we'd take that. We'd also take Connor Bedard.
Sure.
Then we'll talk.
Yeah.
Otherwise, go away. So, to me, Matthew Knies is somebody you build around. You don't trade him away. So I definitely hope that he remains a Leaf. I personally think he will. I also want to mention the Marlies' success. You know, they are currently in the Western Conference final of the AHL playoffs. And they have a 2-0 series lead. Arthur Akhtamov, the goalie, who we saw for one game this year with the Leafs, start one game with the Leafs this year. They lost. They got outshot badly, but he played very well. He has stopped 151 out of the last 160 shots he's faced, and has a 2.03 goals against average. The reason why I'm bringing this up specifically is because his fantastic play is creating an interesting scenario in Toronto's crease. Because I believe with him and Hildeby, the way he played with the Leafs last season, and now acting off with what he's doing now, I think the Leafs can seriously make a goalie trade.
Well, there's a lot of speculation about Wall and Stolars about what their futures are.
Now, the question becomes, which goalie do you move? I've said it a couple times on this podcast. I think the Leafs play better in front of Stolars. Question is, can Stolar stay healthy?
Right. There's the injury history there. That's what makes this a more complicated question.
Wall is also not averse to injury, but he seems a little less injury prone than Stolars. If Stolars can heal up 100% and stay healthy, I would personally be inclined to keep Stolars. It doesn't mean I don't like Wall. I just think the Leafs play better in front of Stolars. Wall didn't help his case out either in the world in the World Championships that's going on right now, because he shit the bed for Team USA and got pulled 2 out of the 3 games or 4 games he played. So that didn't help out the scenario. But I believe with the good play of both Hildeby and Akhtamov, I think the Leafs can make a move at the goaltending position. Because I believe if the Leafs show a little bit of patience in this regard, that Hildeby and Akhtamov can both be the goaltending tandem of the future for the Leafs. So we have a lot of depth in net. Also, Cowan is having a wonderful AHL playoff. He's got 5 or 6 goals. That's doing wonders for him and will translate fantastically next year to next season, him getting those minutes. And we also have, William Villeneuve on defense is having a standout playoff by all accounts. He seems like a very mobile, puck-moving defenseman. That comes in handy. Shocking how that works. if you call them up and actually play them, like Berube was unwilling to do. A guy getting his first taste from junior with the Marlies is Ben Danford. He was one of our prospects that we recently drafted, and he's come out and said that he is hopeful to make the jump. His goal is to make the jump to the NHL next year, so we'll see. But I think it's worth noting that the Leafs do have a lot of... I think the cupboard is more full for the Leafs than some people are suggesting, some analysts are suggesting. So, those are just a couple of the names I wanted to bring up because I feel like we're going to need some of the Marlies to come up and take some strides here for us.
Right. Well, and you and I talked about it in the closing games of the season. Why wasn't Berube playing them when everything was obviously lost? Why not see what we have? And we saw that a little bit. People, players like Bo Grew, but we didn't see that nearly enough because obviously, again, we were going to be in transition.
Probably stubbornness is my guess from Berube's point of view. So yeah, I just want to highlight, some of the other prospects. Like William Villeneuve on defense, who's a puck-moving defenseman, who we brought up for one game, and Craig Berube barely played. He's getting some notoriety. He could step in, and get a look in training camp. Ben Danford is, I think, one of our draft picks from last season. Mm-hmm. Or it might have been the year before. I can't exactly remember.
And you and I talked about that, about as the season waned and it was obvious that all was lost, why isn't Berube playing some of these players? Why aren't we seeing what we have for the future?
Right. So Ben Danford, he's his goal for the offseason is to try and make the NHL club. Mm-hmm. And at the very least, he's going to play with the Marlies next season. So, I mean, that'll be good. But, if he can succeed enough to make the jump, that could be good. Also, I don't know why, but based on what he's doing in the AHL playoffs, if Domi's going to be out for any length of time, I think the Leafs should really give a look to Alexander Nylander, calling him up and letting him play with the big club again. Yeah, give him a shot with his brother. You don't think those two would like to play on a line together?
I'm sure they would be very excited about that.
And I saw the highlight of the goal he scored last night for the Marlies, because God forbid they showed it on TV, because
yeah, we don't get anything like that down here.
We're subjected to watching the Montreal Canadiens shit the bed. Like, I give a shit about that.
That's not a bad thing, though.
When they lose, it's a great thing. But who the hell? Like, give me an option, and I'd rather watch the Marlies. But
anytime I want to watch hockey that's not the NHL, I have to go to YouTube. What I can find. So
he had a great give and goal last night, but he's been good all playoff and all year for the Marlies, so he should get a look. And again, with the goalie situation, with the way Akhtimov and Hildeby are playing with the Marlies, it really puts us in a position to make a trade for with either Wall or Stolarz. Now, I don't know which one you trade, because Stolarz, they both have injury history. Stolarz seems to have a little bit more injury history.
Yeah, I was going to say his seems a little more serious
than Wall. However, the Leafs do tend to play better in front of Stolars.
So I think that's what we. I think definitely you can make that case for last year.
So if Stolars can get over whatever he was battling, whatever the latest injury was, if I was John Chayka making the decision and Matt Sundin, I would pull the trigger on trading Wall. Again, not to say I don't like Wall. Optically and statistically, the Leafs have played better in front of Stolars. That's all.
And it's possible, at least for one more year, I would think they might keep them both here, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I've seen some people say, well, trade them both and bring up the two young guys. And I'm like, okay, well, let's not go crazy now.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure for those guys.
You know, Akimov could probably benefit from another full year with the Marlies.
Yeah.
Even though he's playing great right now, another full year of seasoning for him is beneficial. Because goalies, you know, again, they're like defensemen. They take longer to typically they take longer to develop. Now, Hildeby's ready to step into the NHL. And this is why I think we have to make a trade with one of the other two goalies, because the way Hildeby's contract works, now it's a one-way deal. So if we decide we have to send him down at the end of training camp to start the season, he has to clear waivers. He's not clearing waivers. If we send him down, we're going to lose him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he should be on the team next year as our backup goalie. The decision that John Chayka and Matt Sundin have to make is Stolars or is Wall going to be our guy? That's the number one. It's a tough call. Like I said, I like them both. They're both injury prone.
Yeah, and you and I mean, there are times that you and I talked about both of those guys being the reason the Leafs were even in games at certain points last year.
Yeah. But again, just optically and statistically, for whatever reason, and I don't understand why this is the case, but the Leafs play better in front of Stolars. So it's going to be a tough call. And we'll see what. But the reason why I wanted to highlight the Marlies is because they're doing so well, being in the third round, the conference final of the AHL playoffs. That's great for all our young guys and should give them motivation. Motivation. That's not even a word. Motivation to start training camp for the Leafs because they're all going to want to crack the lineup.
Yeah.
And that bodes well because I think we're going to need a couple of them to step in and fill a couple spots. Like you're not going to find some magic bullet where we're like every issue is going to be fixed through free agency. You know, because there's not a tier quality on every name that's going to hit free agency this summer.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to fill the gaps, fill the holes internally.
Mm-hmm.
So this run by the Marlies is excellent for next year and the future of the Leafs as a whole. But the other reason I bring it up is to say that some of these analysts are already writing the Leafs off next year, and I don't think you should, because the cupboard is not as bare as they want you to believe just by watching the Marlies. And if the Leafs draft Gavin McKenna, I got news for you. A first line of Matthews, Knies, and McKenna, and a second line of Tavares, Nylander, and it would have been Donnie, but
yeah, we'll see about that one.
But we'll see who it is. But
let's not forget the Leafs were in playoff contention for a very long time last year. A very long time.
There were certain moments where we were right there. So,
yeah,
our top six, I think, the pieces are still there. And then it's about filling in and bringing in some Marlies and some free agent acquisitions. But again, it is way too early to write off the Leafs as being totally out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they draft McKenna. If they draft McKenna, they're right back in the conversation. And again, like I said, if they can, there's a guy there in the Marlies. He's 29-30 at this point, but Vinny Lettieri is his name. He's got a hell of a one-timer. Some people he's like, they didn't compare. Obviously, he's not Alex Ovechkin, but the strength of his one-timer, the velocity of his one-timer is quote-unquote Ovechkin-like. They said.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe re-sign that guy, bring him up to the NHL as a third liner, and give him some power play time. Like so there's a lot to like. Again, there's we saw what Bo Groulx came up and did.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the few that actually got a chance from Berube.
Yeah.
So like
brought a lot of energy.
Some of these analysts, the Leafs are. It's going to be a struggle for the next few years. They're writing us off, and I just think that's erroneous and a mistake, because our top six is still really, really strong, and there's going to be changes, and you can't evaluate a team in May of 2026 to know what they're going to be like in October or September, late September.
And if McKenna develops, Matthews comes back, if he heals up and returns to form under a new coach, and again a new culture. And again,
and we don't know who the coach is going to be. We don't know the philosophy of play. There's so many things that are yet to be determined that you cannot write. Like I saw last night at the game, and I'm going to get a little bit kind of. I'm going to try and keep it as PG-13 as I can, but it's kind of hard because I got to make the reference. Like the verbal, how can I say this politely? The verbal, I'm just going to say it, you can bleep it out if you want. The verbal masturbation that the commentators were giving the Montreal Canadiens last night was the most biased, sickening display I've ever seen. Like the Montreal Canadiens are going to be good for years to come. They're going to be Stanley Cup finalists. How do you know? This could have been a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
You think the Florida Panthers are going to be bottom feeders for the next 4 years? I got news for you. They're not. You think Detroit is never going to make the playoffs again? I mean, they should.
Did anybody see what happened? Yeah. Did anybody foresee what happened with the Panthers this year?
Yeah, but Detroit's knocking on the door. They shit the bed at the end of the season, but they're right there. Florida's going to be, unfortunately, I don't want to admit this, but they're going to be back. The Leafs, if they make the right moves and the right hires, they're going to be right there too. I mean, they're automatically giving Montreal a free pass to the finals for 5 consecutive years. You don't know that. Like, listen, I get. I personally don't prescribe to it, but some people I get. They have the philosophy. Oh, they're the only Canadian team left. You got to cheer for them. First of all, no, I don't, because I got news for you. And again, no. I love my American friends. You and Chris and all the guys. But look, the USA is going to win the cup for the 32nd year in a row. Yeah, I got news for you. Look at the makeup of both the Vegas Golden Knights and the Carolina Hurricanes. You know which nationality dominates both teams? They're Canadian.
Right, exactly.
90% of the players are Canadian.
So I've often heard it said that that the NHL, it's really your Canadians against our Canadians. You know,
yeah. the only difference, the only reason the American teams have had a monopoly on the Stanley Cup is out of 32 teams, there are only 7 Canadian.
Right. Yeah.
So the law of averages suggests this is going to happen.
You think I would root for Florida just because they got there, just because they're from America?
Yeah. But honestly, and I think that's the best terminology, the verbal masturbation that was given to the Montreal Canadiens by the analysts. Like, I wanted to mute the TV because it was just, oh yeah, the window is just opening. Yeah, you know what? Take that window, open it up, and throw the entire Montreal Canadian teams out of it. I'm tired of hearing it. Like, it could have been. Listen, did any of these people watch the games? The Tampa series went to 7, and Montreal got a fluky goal in overtime. The Buffalo game went to 7. Montreal got a fluky goal in overtime. It's not like they didn't sweep any of those rounds. Carolina is a whopping, hold on, 12, what are they, 12-1? That's a team that you can say is going to be in that position for years to come. They have been and they will be. You can't say that about Montreal. They're saying they're the next Edmonton Oilers. Excuse me? Edmonton has McDavid and Draisaitl, which is the only reason they were there for 3 years in a row, in the final for 3 years in a row, 2 years in a row. Well, Montreal doesn't have that. Well, Cole Caulfield got 50 goals. Wow. How many did he get in the Eastern Conference Final? I'll tell you, it was 1.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick Suzuki, their captain. How many goals did he get in the conference final? 1 or 2? Wow. And you're just assuming that this is going to happen again next year? It just, it sickens me because you can't tell me because you watch you get the American feed, so they may be different. But when the Leafs are playing, they're always even when they were in the playoffs last year, they were being criticized. You know, against Ottawa, it was Ottawa this, Ottawa that, Ottawa that. But every other Canadian team gets the treatment from they get the special massage that you have to go to a massage parlor for. But the Leafs get trashed on every chance they get here. Yeah. Like the analysts are so, like, honestly, I want to mute the TV and just watch it in silence. But to assume that Montreal is just going to be back there next year, that makes me hope they miss the playoffs even more.
Yeah. I got to ask you one more thing for this podcast.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about the possibility of Connor McDavid someday being a Leaf. What are your thoughts on the latest developments here?
Well, the latest development is this: Edmonton needs a coach. And they're not getting permission from Vegas, which is kind of underhanded, to talk to Bruce Cassidy, because that's who they really want. But right now, and Vegas obviously fired Bruce Cassidy, but he's still under contract with them, so they haven't given permission to Edmonton to speak to him. So Edmonton has been granted permission to speak to Craig Berube. That's going to be fun, and I'll tell you why. This ties in with McDavid, because if Berube does get hired by the Oilers, he's going to have McDavid. He's going to want McDavid to do the same thing that he wanted Matthews to do. You think McDavid's going to like that? Right. I got news for you. McDavid and Draisaitl don't penalty kill.
Yeah.
They don't block shots. Nor should they.
I tell you, whenever the Leafs ran into McDavid last year, I was just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this guy's playing at a different speed.
I sincerely hope that Edmonton continues to lose, because deep down I think if the Leafs are in a good spot by the time his contract is up, I think he'd be willing to come to Toronto.
And again, that's why I ask you about that, because on the Leafs boards, the fan groups that I frequent, I often see that about, he's going to come here someday.
Listen.
And I'm like, look, fans are always prone to wishful thinking, but this seems to have a little more juice to it.
If he comes here, if the Leafs do end up eventually signing McDavid, I mean, and if they have, this is all hypothetical. But just imagine a scenario for a second. Let's say we can keep Matthews content. And whatever, he resigns after the 2 years. And we have McKenna. And then we bring in McDavid. Can you imagine? That would be like, that's the equivalent of Megan Fox, Margot Robbie, and who did I mention before? Sydney Sweeney. All showing up at my front door in lingerie. That's the equivalent. You can't come up with a dream better than that. Listen, if those three guys were hypothetically on the Leaf team, just hand us the cup.
That could be dynasty right there.
Like, I'm just thinking about it. But right now, let's start. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's 2 years down the road.
Right.
Let's start with these again. To close the show, I want to remind John Chayka and Matt Sundin, they have one job.
Right.
I mean, they have lots of things to fix, but on June 26th,
right,
they have one job. And I'll say this. The Toronto Maple Leafs are proud to select first overall in the 2026 entry draft, Gavin McKenna. There it is. And that's where the retool begins, right there. Mm-hmm. And what a piece to have. He just steps in, he slots in right. Even if you want to start him with John Tavares for him to get his feet wet.
Sure. And I'm sure Tavares would impart so much knowledge to the
team.
Yeah.
He's going to live in Toronto. I can guarantee you, because Tavares is taking in Knies, he's taking in so many young. He's going to be living in Tavares' basement.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
And a lot of I've seen reactions from a lot of the Leafs. They seem very excited about the prospect of playing with him.
Well, did you see the reaction video when Knies and Nylander were watching the Marley game and they saw we got the number?
Yeah.
Those are guys. See, again, those are two guys that love being Leafs. And I'm seeing fans on Facebook and social media come up with trade proposals for these guys. Are you nuts? The building blocks are this.
Yeah.
Okay? Here's the building blocks. Nylander as the veteran. McKenna. Cowan. And Knies. Whether Matthews is around or not, those are your four building blocks for the future. You don't trade those guys away. No. Go out in free agency and sign a defenseman. Bring up some of the Marlies for defensemen. Can't be any worse. Look, Riley is. There's more evidence that he's gonna be asked to waive, and he probably will. You keep Ekman Larson, you keep McCabe, and you keep Tanev. And the other three defensemen, brand new. Sign a free agent, and then bring in two Marlies.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, I mean, there's it all. To me, it all starts with making the right call on draft day and selecting McKenna.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the cornerstone, as we were talking about before this podcast. A new hope.
Yeah, that's why I titled it. That's going to be, if you're listening, it's the title. If you're watching, so that's what.
Save us, Obi-Wan McKenna.
Yeah, it's exciting, and again, this is a guy that invites pressure.
Mm-hmm.
He likes it. I mean, and he's a point producer. This is all year what people have been bemoaning, that the Leafs need somebody like Mitch Marner. He's sitting right there. He's going to be sitting front row at the draft. Oh, I don't know where he's going to be sitting. Somewhere. Don't make him even sit.
I know I'm going to be up for it, though. I'm definitely going to be up watching that.
Don't want. It's on a. I think it's on a. What is? Wait, let me check. June 26th is a Friday.
It's a Friday, so yeah.
So you'll be. 7 p.m. I got the time right and wrong in a Facebook post. I said 8 p.m., but 7 p.m. I want to come on here in July when we do our next episode and have the same happy, jovial tone I've had today. There's only 2 people that can mess that up right now. Like John Shaker, I said, don't you like when I'm happy? Don't you see how happy Donnie and I are? Can we continue these vibes? At least until we see the on-ice product in late September.
Right.
Let us have these delusions now and be happy and go,
This is the first time we've been in a good mood since, like, early January.
Yeah, like, come on. All it is 2 words. Gavin McKenna. I mean, there's been nothing simpler. This is like, oh, what do I want for breakfast? Pancakes. Well, all right. You can't go wrong. He's the pancake, nice and fluffy, sweet. Brings Gavin McKenna's like pancake. Just keep it simple, Leafs. Keep it. Oh, by the way, I want to give a special shout out. Remember my friend that I said just started watching. It's been 2 years now, but she just started watching hockey. She's the good luck charm. Even though this past year was not so good, and she's like, I don't think I'm a good luck. It's such a good luck charm. I said, well, this is a one-off. This is not your fault. I won't put the blame on you yet. If this continues for multiple years, then we'll have to reevaluate this luck, quotient. But she texted me last night, much like you did, and the text was the equivalent of, "Yay, Montreal's been eliminated from the playoffs." And all I said in my mind was, I haven't taught her everything. I haven't explained all the rules yet. I think we haven't gone through the minutia. But at the very least, she understands that the Montreal Canadiens are public enemy number 1. And no matter what else you understand about hockey, if you understand that, you're a true Leaf fan. These Leaf fans that are hopping on the Montreal bandwagon because they were the only Canadian team left, I've lost so much respect for you people. It's not even funny.
Oh, like I'm not going to cheer for a team just because they're from down here. If Florida played against Corrigar, I'd root for Corrigar.
Yeah, exactly. So, we are less than a month away from the generational defining first true roster maneuver from John Shake and Matt Sundin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very immense responsibility, but it's an easy choice.
Exciting time to be a Leafs fan.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Did you think before the draft lottery? Did you think we were going to be saying that?
I'm going to say this to end. Let's do it because I want to end it on a real good note.
Okay.
So if you want to find us on social media, talk more Leafs, Donnie, where do they do that?
You can find me on Facebook or Blue Sky or Threads or YouTube as the Emerald Enthusiast, which talks about Green Lantern. It has nothing to do with hockey, but if you want to talk about hockey or any of that stuff, you can find me there. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Leafs.
Now, if you want to find me, it's at Adam_Leafs fan. I'm on X. I'm on Blue Sky. We have the Facebook group. All those things that'll be in the description below. The Facebook group. One of my social media handles will be in the description as well. But to end by answering Donnie's question, did I ever think that we'd be in this kind of mood after our last episode and after the season ended? No, but I can honestly say that even though deep down I thought we were giving away the pick to Boston, when we got that number 12 ball and got the first overall pick, the first thing, after the stream with the expletive, the other thing I said was, I quoted Drew McIntyre, WWE superstar, and I said, I prayed for this. And it happened. So, for all the years that I've wished on a birthday cake for something Leaf related and it never came true, And for all the prayers of, please, can they win the Stanley Cup before I die? That's still a prayer that hasn't been answered, maybe. But the one prayer that was answered was, can we somehow lock ourselves into winning the draft after this horrendous season? They've done it. Now, just make the right choice. We'll find that out.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about it on our next Leaf episode. So until next time, enjoy yourself and go Leafs go.
So long, everyone.